It was football again here at Northwest Stadium as the Washington Commanders were back in action for their first preseason game of the season against the Miami Dolphins. Now, remember, Washington and Miami squared up against each other in a joint practice this week in Ashburn, and there was a carryover effect in this football game. Now, the Dolphins came out and had their first team offense. They went right down the field on a 16 play, 91-yard drive, but that was against a sprinkle of a couple of Washington defensive starters, but more or less it was the backups that were in the game during that time. Now, as the game progressed, you saw Washington get their feet under them, and they continued the dominance of the Dolphins that they started during the joint sessions. Some of the big plays of the game were Katron Allen, Robert Henry Jr. They both scored on touchdowns. Katron Allen had 85 yards on the day. Robert Allen had 75 yards on the day. And when you look at both those young backs, they complemented each other. And Katron Allen said in his press conference that he was happy for Robert Henry Jr. for scoring, and that pushed him and made him want to score as well.
It was exciting because we talked about it. We both talked about it before it even happened. So that's doing it, and that's my dog, man. So seeing him score, I knew I had to score just because he scored and he just got me going. And Rod had a great game today. Proud of him.
Now, speaking of younger players, Ethan Kaliakmanis came in the second half, and he looked really good. I mean, the rookie from Rutgers showed some poise in the pocket. He gave his team opportunities on the field, and he made some big throws into the middle of the field, into the teeth of the Miami Dolphins defense. So I think overall, if you're a Washington Commanders fan, you should feel really good about the development of Kaliakmanis. Sam Hartman, third-year quarterback from Notre Dame, he actually, to me, looked like this was his best game as a Commander. He had some command of the offense. He went 8 for 13 on the game, and I thought that he showed some poise as well. So if you're Washington, that should make you feel better because Marcus Mariota on the first drive for Washington to start this game was hurt. It looked like he was favoring his knee, sat down on the ground after a play, and then he was ushered off the field. He was walked off the field to the locker room, and we didn't see him for the rest of the evening. Now, as of this time doing this stand up, I don't know what the significance of the injury is, but if you're Washington, you hope and pray that your backup quarterback isn't injured because if that's the case, they're going to have to go out and look for another quarterback because Ethan Kaliakmanis and Sam Hartman aren't guys that you want to really thrust into action, at least not at this point in their careers. Some other guys that stood out today. Quan Martin had a much needed interception. Quan Martin is a guy that's been kind of embattled in the secondary. Well, he had a big interception, and I talked with him after the game, kind of, off to the side in the, in the hallway. And I told him, I'm sure that was big for you to get that interception. And he said it was. So I said, listen, you guys had a turnover, your first turnover, first team defense, first turnover in the joint practice, and you had 3 tonight because Ali Cajo had one as well. Quan Martin had one. So if you look at the turnovers that are starting to come around for Durante Jones' defense, these guys are starting to get it going, and they're starting to turn up the aggression. Now, keep in mind, this was done without their key players. So tonight, there was no Frankie Louvu on the field. There was no Adafe Owe on the field. There was no Kaylavon Chasen on the field. We did see Sonny Styles, and we saw Leo Chanel on the field tonight. And Sonny Styles got his first action in Northwest Stadium as a Commander, and he was excited about it.
Get out there. Obviously, it wasn't too long, just one drive, but it was a long drive. But, just get out there, living the dream. Got to kind of walk out there pregame, just take it all in, be present for the moment. It's awesome to get in the stadium, get around the fans. So just excited to keep going. And all that stuff it's really just getting back out there in that first practice what I needed. Having guys like Adafe and KC out there to go, which obviously helps you a lot, speed that process up. Tremendous plays like that. So, I was comfortable today. Like I knew where I had to get to, just thinking about the plays and not really thinking about how I have to play, if that makes sense. So, just getting really comfortable. I thought it was really good. Henry and Batman, I thought they did great. They've been grinding, and it's cool. They got to put it on display. I've been seeing it since we started training camp. It's cool for everybody else to see it. So I'm really happy for those guys, and they deserve it.
Yeah, from the defense, I think we were flying around, having fun. I think we were communicating well. Everything we were all on one accord. We were some ball hawks out there. We had 2, could have had 3. Damn, but But yeah, I think we were out there playing the ball, and, just having fun.
In terms of what it looks like, there'll be things to communicate differently, headsets, how to go, but both of them really felt in control. I was listening a lot tonight just to see how the communication goes, call, in on time and packages. So it's actually can be difficult in the preseason because you're not game planning and okay, this is what I want to feature on this third down. This is what they like to do. So about both guys, I'd give them high remarks for starting us off. Good collaboration from the coaches too.
So again, 3 turnovers on the night for Washington's defense. I forgot to mention Malik Spencer, the rookie from Michigan State, who's been really turning some heads at the safety position. He had an interception tonight. So again, Durante Jones' defense is starting to pick it up. You saw David Blau, as far as the offensive coordinator. His offense was running the ball and being physical up front. Next week, though, you'll see the regulars. You'll see some Jaden Daniels. If you came tonight to Northwest Stadium and you didn't see him, sorry about that. But this is part of the business of preseason football. You don't really throw your main guys out there in the first game. You let some of the younger guys get their feet wet, get acclimated to what it's like being a pro and playing in front of a professional crowd. So we're going to have a lot more coming up over the next couple of days as this team's going to have 2 big preseason games coming up. They're going to have some joint practices coming up against the Baltimore Ravens as well. And we'll have all that for you right here. So here from Northwest Stadium for ESPN Radio, I'm NFL insider Blake Lewis Jr.